is everybody? Hopefully you're doing well today. We're going to start with a riddle today. It says, forwards I am heavy, backwards I am not. What am I? Pause the video if you do not want to see the answer and think about it. And the answer was a ton. Forwards I am heavy, backwards I am not. If you spell not backwards, it is a ton, which is heavy. How many pounds? How many? No, not 1,000, 2,000 pounds in a ton. Okay, cool. All right, we're going to get started with today's lesson. So we're going to review expressions and we're going to talk about equations. First of all, an expression and an equation in this Venn diagram share a couple attributes. They are both going to have a variable because they are algebraic, okay? And they are both going to have an operation. Does anyone know what makes them different? An expression does not have an equal sign, and an equation does. All right? So we're going to view this unit, and we're going to basically call our equations a balanced scale. Okay, I want you to put your arms up, and if a scale is balanced, there we go, it is the same on both sides. Not balanced, balanced. Not balanced, balanced. This is very important that your arms are in the same spot, like a scale is in the same spot. So if you saw something like this, if it said x plus 2 equals 5, because there's an equal sign, it means it is a balanced scale. This is called an equation. All right? What our goal today is going to be is we're going to solve for x. And I think a lot of you know right now the answer is 3. Okay, and we're going to talk about how we solve that, all right? So, balanced scale, unbalanced scale. All right, before I get into this, I have a quick example I want to show you guys. And I have a bag of sand, all right? Nice bag of sand. In this bag of sand is a diamond ring. Ooh. Okay, a very expensive diamond ring. How would you get the diamond ring out of the sand? Right, you would just dig it out, okay? And if I do that, you're going to see this diamond ring. Isn't Mrs. E lucky? Look at the size of that. I think I worked 7 years to pay for that. Can you guys believe that? Do you believe that? No? Well, it's good. It's fake. She has a nice ring, but it's not this big. This is a whole lot of cubic zirconia. But let's imagine this was a diamond ring. You have to move the sand out of the way to get out the diamond ring. Variables are just like that. Our goal for what we do today is to, like we got the diamond ring alone, we're going to try to get the variable alone. Okay? Put it back in the sand for safekeeping. So, in order to get our variable alone, we're going to do something called the inverse. And the word inverse simply means the opposite. All right? So the first step is going to be to identify the variable. Right? It is x, and I'm actually going to draw a diamond around it, okay? The next step is we're going to look for what's next to the variable, and in this case, we're adding 8. Now, I know a lot of you know the answer is 9. That's not really the focus right now. We're going to do something called performing the inverse to get the variable alone. In order to perform the inverse, we have to look at what the inverse is. The inverse is basically the opposite. Some of you did this last year. So the opposite of adding is to subtract, and the opposite of subtraction is addition. So if I go back to this problem, I need to get rid of the sand, so somehow I need to cancel out adding 8 so that my variable's alone. And so in order to do this, I'm going to subtract 8. Now, those canceled out, I got x alone, but I have a problem. Remember the scale. If I subtract 8 on one side, my scale is not balanced. And I'm not going to quiz you on this, but the subtraction property of equality says whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So since I subtracted 8 on the left side of the equation, there's two sides, the left side of the equal sign and the right side, I have to do it on the right side. When I do that, I have my variable alone, which means I'm going to have my answer, and I have my answer of 9, okay? And the final step Again, I'll show this one more time. Subtract 8 on both sides. X is alone. The answer 9 is the check step. And we're going to actually use some stuff that we did with substitution and expressions. If x equals 9, and I substitute it in, 9 plus 8 equals 17, it checks out all right. So let's do a few of these, okay, step by step. So let's go c minus 5 equals 21. Okay, step 1, identify the variable. That's our diamond. We need to get rid of the sand. So we're going to do something called the inverse. Step 2, instead of subtracting 5, I am going to add 5. If I add 5 on one side, my scale just went like this, so I have to be consistent. This would be the addition property of equality. It says I must add 5 on both sides. How can I check and see if I'm right? I have my answer. I'm going to substitute it back in. Instead of c, I'm going to put 26 minus 5 equals 21. I'll let you guys look at that for a second. That is how I want every problem to look. I want to see the inverse. You cannot just write the answer because you can do these in your head. Trust me, they will get much harder than this. Okay, let's go a little faster. So this time I'm going to have 35 equals m plus 7. So again, I have a scale here. Remember the scale we talked about? Balanced scale, all right? This side equals this side. The scale's in the same spot. I don't want an unbalanced scale. So right away here, I am going to find my variable. That's my diamond. That's my sand. Instead of adding 7, I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides, because if I only do it on one side, my scale is not balanced. I want a balanced scale. Those canceled out, and even though my variable was on the right side, it doesn't make any difference. 35 minus 7 is 28. I have my answer. Okay, if you guys didn't like the way this one was written and you would rather always have your variable on the right, and you want to do it like this, you will see that it makes no difference and you still get an answer of 28. Okay, so now my check step, if I think my answer is 28, I substitute it in. 28 plus 7 is 35. It checks out. You don't even need my spot check because you will already know. Let's do one more real quick with subtraction. Let's go y minus 19 equals 31. Step 1, find my variable. That's the diamond. Instead of subtracting 19, I am going to add 19 on both sides so that I keep my scale balanced, because that's the only way that it's an equation. Why do I want to get my variable by itself? Right, because if I get my variable alone and I get rid of the sand, I have my answer. That's the key. My check step shows 50 minus 19 equals 31. It works. Voila! You are now performing one-step equations with algebra. Great job. I will, in my next part of the video, go over the homework for tonight. Thank you. Hey everybody, I'm back. I heard some people say my videos were not fun or funny anymore, so I'm going to throw in a brain teaser with some really hard math here. Try to blow your mind. 2 plus 8 plus 9 equals 10. Pause the video if you'd like to try this. I'm back, and the answer is, can you spell Miss 3? That is the first letter of all of the numbers. Okay, your assignment today, I was going to go through off my desktop, but I think I'm going to go through it up here, is on pages 53 and 54, numbers 1 through 4 and 16 through 23. We're going to work on solving equations using the inverse, and I'm going to work through the first 4 with you. If you feel good, you are free to start right now. This is just if you want the extra help. Okay, cool. The directions. On pages 53 and 54 for number 1, it says in 1 and 2, explain how to get the variable alone in each equation. So for number 1, it says 25 plus m equals 49. Remember, step one, identify the variable. That's like the diamond. How do we get it by itself? We want to get m alone so that we get our answer. We're going to do the inverse, and we're going to subtract 25 on both sides. 49 minus 25 gives us 24. If you want to write this in words, you would say subtract 25 on both sides. I'm fine with you just showing your work and answering it. How can we check it? Does 25 and 24 give us a sum of 49? Ding, 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 it does. All right, let's go to the next one. It says t minus 4d equals 3. How would we get the variable alone? We would add 40, here's the key, to both sides. You can write it out in words, or you can show it. Either way, you get an answer of 43, okay? If you want to check it, does 43 minus 40 equal 3? Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay, for the next section, for the directions, it says in 3 and 4, solve each equation and check your answer. So for number 3, it says 12 equals x minus 11. I find my variable, I do the inverse. Instead of subtracting 11, I'm going to add 11 to both sides so that I get my variable alone, which means I can get my answer. It does say to do the check step, so if I substitute in 23, does 23 minus 11 equal 12? It does. And then the last one I'm going to do is number 4. All right, 22 equals 13 plus x. Instead of adding 13, I'm going to subtract 13 because I need to get my variable alone. If I do it on one side, it's not balanced. I have to do it on both sides. 22 minus 13 gives me 9. My check step. Does 13 plus 9 equal 22? It does, okay? Again, your assignment is there. I did the first 4 with you for help, so you need to finish 16 through 23. Hopefully that makes sense. Good luck. Mr. E, out.